For this project, any category 4 yarn will work, but I used a skein and a half of Caron 1 pound in lace. As for tools, a 5mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, and a tape measure. We're using 4 stitches for this project, and they will be as followed. Chain, slip stitch, single crochet, double crochet. This tutorial is for a size small, but you can adjust it for your size, and we explain how in the video, so let's get started. Getting this dress started, we're first going to grab our category 4 yarn. Start off by making a slip knot, then we're going to grab our 5mm hook, and we're going to start off by making a chain that goes from the top of your chest down to where you want the bottom of the dress to be. Now that we have our chain, my chain is 30 inches or 76 centimeters by the way, we're going to go in with a row of slip stitches. So all we're going to do is block off that last chain that we made. We're going to chain up one extra. Once we have that, we're going to insert our hook into that loop that we blocked off, or the second chain from the hook, with a slip stitch. And all that is insert into that loop, and we're going to yarn over, pull through everything that's on the hook. Let's do this a couple more times. Our slip stitch is inserting into that next loop. We're going to yarn over and pull through everything. Let's do this one more time together. Insert, yarn over, pull through everything. And you guys got it. So go ahead and do this, going all the way back down. Now that we have slip stitched all the way down our chain, what we're going to do for the next row and every other row is going to be back loop slip stitches. So what we're going to do is chain up one. We're going to flip our work, and we're just going to do the same thing, so slip stitches but going into the back loop. So going into this first loop that we have, all we're going to do is insert our hook in through that back loop, yarn over, pull through everything. Let's do this a couple more times together. We're going to insert our hook into this next loop, yarn over, pull through everything. Let's do this again. Insert our hook, yarn over, pull through everything. And that is it. This is going to be the remainder of the body portion, and we're not going to be doing 2 separate chunks like how we typically do. This is just going to be one really long piece, and then we're going to connect with a single crochet row just to get both ends to close up. But while we're doing this, you're going to want to periodically put this up to yourself and just make sure that it fits. And when you do put it up to yourself, make sure that you stretch it, because this dress is going to be tight and it does stretch. That's why we're using this stitch. So I'll be meeting up with you guys in a little bit just to show you guys what I have, and also to show you guys how it stretches, how much it stretches, and what the stitch actually looks like. But go ahead and keep doing this for a little bit, and then I will meet you guys back. So this is what I have so far, just a tiny chunk of the work that we have. Don't mind this will be woven in later, just ignore that. But this is what the stitch kind of will look like once when you're wearing it. It's obviously shrunken up, but just to let you guys know really quickly, from one end to the next, I have a total of 3 inches, and this is just to show you guys how much it stretches, but I have a total of 3 inches or about 8 centimeters, but once when we pull it, this stretches all the way out to about 6 inches. So this can and will stretch a lot, so just make sure when you guys put it up to yourself that you guys are stretching it, just to make sure that it's not too bulky once when we actually sew it in together. But this is basically it. This is what the entirety of the body portion of the dress is going to be. So go ahead and keep going, and then I'll meet you guys back once when we have the entire thing done, and then we can attach the 2 ends together. So this is what I have once when I have gotten done doing our entire back loop slip stitch block. And as you guys can see, this is what it looks like, but once when it stretches, it looks like it's thick knit, which is perfect. And just to let you guys know, for mine, from one end, don't mind these will be woven in, but from one end all the way down to the bottom, for me, I have a total of 18 inches or 46 centimeters, and I didn't cut and tie it because now we're actually just going to fold this in half and then connect everything going all the way down. So since our hook is already connected into one side, this is going to be super easy. We're just going to fold this over in any way that's easiest for us to work into it. So I just put my back panel behind where I'm working, and this is what I have. And then once when we get here, all we're going to do is go in with a row of single crochet going all the way down. So from here, we're going to insert our hook into this first loop that we have in the back panel. Once we have that, we're going to yarn over, pull through, chain up 1 to secure. Then once we have that guy, now we're going to go into every loop, making sure we're going through the front panel and the back panel with a single crochet. So into this first available loop that we have, we're going to insert our hook, and then into the next available loop that we have in the back panel, we will be, not that one, inserting our hook into there, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is our first single crochet. Let's do this together one more time. We're going to insert our hook into this next available loop in the front panel, and then insert your hook into the next available loop in the back panel, and single crochet. And that is basically it. We're going to keep doing this all the way down until we get to the end, but don't cut and tie because we have the tiniest little border to do there, just so that we can add in a drawstring for a little bit more closure. But I'll meet you guys back once we make our way over to the end. We just went all the way down with our row of single crochet. As you guys can see, this is our seam, and we didn't cut and tie because we're going to go in this top section with a single crochet just so that we can clean this up a little bit. And this is going to be not the funnest because there's not a lot of really great loops for us to go into, but we do have some, so we're just going to have to take a look and we'll do the first couple together. But a really quick tip is you're going to want to, once when you go in with your row of single crochet, you're going to want to try to stretch this out as much as you can while you work, because this is going to need to stretch so that it can fit over your body. Because if you just put, say for example, 1 single crochet in between each of these little rows that we have, so if you put 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, it might not stretch enough for us because a single crochet row is tighter than this actual piece. So we're going to try to go in with 2 single crochets into each of these in between pieces, in between these rows. So we'll do the first few together. So in between our seam and then this first row that we have, we're going to take a look. There's going to be some loops that are prettier than others, so we're just going to insert our hook into the prettier loops. So we're going to find 1, here's 1 single crochet, and then here is one of those pretty loops I was talking about. We can see it all right here, and 2. And those are our 2 that's in between the seam and the first slip stitch row, not single crochets. And then we're going to take a look at the next one. We're going to separate it. We're going to try and find the first one. The first one's typically a little bit harder to go into, but find the first loop. And then here's our next pretty loop. As you can see, insert into there. Let's do this one more time. Separate the next 2 rows, single crochet into one of the loops, and then find the next loop and single crochet again. And then we're going to keep doing this all the way around. Once we get to the end, we are going to slip stitch it into the first loop that we made, and then we're going to go in with a row of double crochet so that that can tie into our drawstring, and then I'll meet you guys back. So as y'all can see, we have made it all the way around with our top row of single crochet, and all we're going to do is take a look at our first loop that we have in between the seam and the first single crochet in this single crochet row. We're just going to insert our hook into that loop. We're going to yarn over, pull through everything, just like that, and now it is all connected. And then once we have that, we are going to chain up 1, 2, and 3. This counts as a double crochet, and from here we're just going to be putting 1 double crochet into every loop that we have all the way around our work. Once we get to the end, we are going to count up these 3 loops, attach our hook into that 3rd loop with a slip stitch, cut and tie, and then we can start working on the sleeves. So this is what we should have once when we are all finished up with our row of double crochet along the top. And as you guys can see, I have attached with a slip stitch and cut and tied, and this is all finished up. I know that this part looks a little nuts right now because it's a little wrinkly, but it'll all work out once when we have the drawstring in hidden underneath the flap that we're going to have, but we just wanted it like this so that this can actually fit over us. But once when we have all of this all done, the next thing we're going to do is work on the sleeve. But right before we start working on that, we're just going to want to figure out how long we want the sleeve to be, and we're just going to measure from where this hits on our chest. We're just going to kind of trace this over to our arm, and then from there measure all the way down to your wrist, or however long you guys want your sleeve to be. And then whatever that measurement is, we're going to start off by making a chain of that. So we now know our measurements. Mine is going to be a measurement of 15 inches or 38 centimeters. So I'm going to grab my same yarn, make a slip knot. I'm going to grab my 5mm hook again and go ahead and make a chain that comes out to that length. We now have the length of the chain that we want, and what we're going to do from here is actually exactly the same way that we did the body, every part of it. So just as a really quick refresher, once when we get here, we're going to block off that last chain. We're going to chain up one extra, and from here we're going to insert our hook into that second loop that we blocked off with our thumb, and then from here we're going to yarn over, pull through everything. So our first stitch is a slip stitch. So let's do that again. Into the next loop, we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through everything. Next loop, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through everything, and complete and continue doing this all the way down until you guys make it all the way down the chain. And then we're going to do more back loop slip stitches, but we'll do that together just one more time so that we can get the rest going. We've made it all the way down our chain doing our slip stitches, and now we're going to do the same thing we did for the body, which is more back loop slip stitches. So once when we get to the end, we are going to chain up one, flip our work, and then into this first loop that we have, we're going to insert our hook into this back loop. We're going to yarn over, pull through everything. Let's do this just one more time. Into this next loop, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through everything. And keep doing this all the way down. Once we make it to the end, chain up one and do more back loop slip stitches until we have a solid block that can actually fit around our arm. And in the next clip, I'll tell you guys the width that I have. But yeah, go ahead and keep doing your back loop slip stitches just like normal, nothing fancy to it, and then I'll meet you guys back. So, believe it or not, this is my sleeve all finished up. From one end down to the next, I have a total of 4 inches or about 12 centimeters, and this is exactly the same way that we did the body. So whenever you want to see if it can actually fit you, you're definitely going to want to make sure that this stretches around your arms, because if you guys don't do that, then it's going to be too big and it won't actually fit. But now that we have this, all we're going to do is fold this in half and then go down with a row of single crochet, making sure that our hook goes in through the front and the back panel so that we can connect it all together. So just one more time, we're going to connect the first few loops together. So now that we're here, as you guys can see, we didn't cut and tie, we left our hook in our work, and all we're going to do from here is insert our hook in through the first loop that we have in the back loop, or in the back panel. We're going to yarn over, pull through everything. And then once we get here, we're going to insert our hook into that first available loop that we have in the front panel, and also into the first available loop that we have in the back panel, if I can. Once we have that, we're going to single crochet. Let's do this together one more time. Into the first available loop in the front panel, and then first available loop in the back panel, single crochet. And then go ahead and keep doing this all the way down. Once we make it to the end, we're going to do another row of single crochet and then another row of double crochet, and then we will connect everything. But I'll meet you guys back once we make our way all the way down so that we can do the single and the double crochet rows together. We just made it all the way down with our row of single crocheting, connecting both of our sides together. So now we have a little tunnel. And really quickly, just to show you guys, this stretches a lot for our arm. So once we have all of this done, we're now going to do the same exact thing that we did for the body. So what we're going to do is take a look at our seam, and then in between this next slip stitch row, and there should be 2 loops for us to go into, 2 loops-ish for us to go into. We're going to insert our hook into that first loop with a single crochet, insert our hook into that second loop with another single crochet. So in between each row of slip stitches, we're going to be putting 2 single crochets. So here's the first one into the next section. Here's the second one into the next section. And we're going to keep doing this. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around. Once we make it to the first loop, we're going to slip stitch into that first loop. And then we're going to do a chain up of 3, and then we're going to do a row of double crochet. But we'll meet you guys back so that we can slip stitch it and start off the double crochet together. And once we have that, we're going to do the other sleeve, but we'll get to that once we get to that. We've just done our row of single crochet all the way around, and we're first going to slip stitch it before we start off our next row. So into this one loop that we have in between the seam and our single crochet row, we're going to insert, if we can, there we go, yarn over, pull through everything. And once we have that, we're going to chain up 3. This counts as our double crochet. We're going to prepare for a double crochet. And then from here, we're just going to be putting 1 double crochet into every loop that we have. And once we make it all the way around, we're going to slip stitch it together, cut and tie, and do all of this all over again. And then we're going to connect it to the dress right after that. Now that we have both of our sleeves all finished up, what we're going to do next is attach them to the body portion. And right before we do that, we're first going to flip this inside out so that our seams are on the inside. But for the body portion, you guys are going to get to pick where you want your seam to be, whether if you want the seam a little bit more hidden and you guys want to put it on the side, or if you guys want to do it like how I did. I placed mine directly in the middle in the back. And then once when we have that, we're going to flip the sleeves inside out as well. And then we're going to need to figure out where we want to attach our sleeve. This is going to be pretty simple though. We're basically just going to lay this flat, and then we're going to figure just a couple inches. Oh, this isn't attached. We're going to figure just a couple of inches so that we can go across with a row of single crochet so that these two guys are now attached, and we're going to do that on both sides. And then once when we have these measurements, which my measurements really quickly are 2.5 inches or about 6 centimeters. Once we have that, we're going to go across with a row of single crochet on both sides, and then we can start working on the flap detail. So connecting the sleeve to the dress is fairly easy. How we're going to start it off is inserting our hook into where our stitch marker is. We're going to take this guy out, insert our yarn onto our hook, and we're making sure that our hook is going in through the sleeve and the body. We're going to pull this through, and we're going to chain up 1 to secure. And then from here, we're going to basically do the same thing that we did when we were seaming it together. So we're going to insert our hook into this first available loop into the sleeve or whatever part is closest to you. And then insert your hook into the first available loop in the back panel. Could be the body, could be the sleeve, depending on how you guys are holding it. Once we get here, we're going to single crochet. Let's do the next one together. Insert into the next available loop in the front panel, into the next available loop in the back panel, single crochet. And we're going to keep doing this all the way down until we get to the other, I was going to call it a slip stitch, other stitch marker, and then take that out, cut and tie, do all that, and then do the same thing on the other side. And this is what we should have so far. Both of our sleeves are attached. We can give this a little tug. It is not going anywhere. But once when we get here, we're actually just going to go across with a row of single crochet just to clean up these edges where the sleeve matches, or where the sleeve meets, where the sleeve meets the body portion, and then we'll be working on the flap. But it's just a regular row of single crochet, so I'll meet you guys in 2 seconds just so that we can get it started together. So I know that you guys know how to do single crochets, but I just wanted to meet you guys back for this row just so I can give you a little heads up once when we meet this seam where we just attached our sleeve to our body. And I'm just going to show you guys what I did just to make the next row a little bit easier for myself. So you guys can start wherever you guys want. I'm just going to start somewhere close to the seam just so I don't have to do too much before showing you guys. So I'm going to insert my hook right about here. I'm going to take my yarn, insert that onto my hook, pull through, chain up 1, you already know this. But once when we get here, we're going to insert our hook into that next loop, single crochet into the next available loop, single crochet. And then once we get here, as you guys can see, the next loop that I have is a little busy because that's the one that the seam went into, and then also into the loop that we have after that because that is the next one that we have in the body. I'm actually going to do a little decrease right here just so we have one loop holding these two guys together so that once when we wear it, it's so that once we wear it, we don't have a gap, because if we put 1 single crochet here, 1 single crochet here, there'd be like a tiny gap, which isn't a big deal, but I don't like it. So we're going to do this together really quick. But once we get here, we're going to insert our hook into that next loop, the one that has the seam in it, yarn over, pull through, and then insert our hook into the loop on the other side that also has the seam in it, yarn over, pull through. We should have 3 loops on the hook. Once we have that, we're going to yarn over, pull through everything. And as you guys can see, no gap. But we're basically just going to do that at every point where the body meets the sleeve, sleeve meets the body, however you guys are doing it. But everything else is just going to be a regular row of single crochet. But once we make it to the end, we're just going to slip stitch it into that first loop that we made, and then we're going to go straight into the flap. So you guys don't have to cut and tie. I'll just meet you guys back. We've just made our way all the way around with our row of single crochet while maintaining these little decreases that we had where the sleeve met the body. And we're going to slip stitch this together. So this is the first loop that we made. We're going to insert our hook into that guy, yarn over, pull through everything, and then when we have this, we're going to want to figure out and see how long we want our flip. And then when we have that, we're going to want to measure out and see how long we want our flap to be. I already went ahead and measured mine out, and I want mine to be about 6.5 inches or 17 centimeters. So from here, we're just going to start off by making a chain that is whatever measurement you guys have. Once we have that chain, what we're going to do is block off that last chain that we just made. We're going to do a chain up of 3 on top of that. That counts as a double crochet. Then from here, we're going to prepare for a double crochet. Insert our hook into that loop that we blocked off, or the 4th loop from the hook, with a double crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do the next one together. Prepare for a double crochet, insert into that next loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to keep doing this all the way down our chain, and we are going to connect into the base with a slip stitch, but we're going to be going into the front loops only. But I'll explain that to you guys when we get there. We just made our way down with a row of double crochet, and now we're going to connect it with a slip stitch into the base. But like I said, it's going to be into the, I guess we can't call them front loops, we're going to call them the outside loops. So since our dress is flipped inside out, meaning our seam is already on the inside, what we're going to do is do these loops that are on the outside right here, that's facing on the outside of the dress. So once we get here, I'm just going to show you guys, we're going to connect it into the second loop from our work. So we're going to count up 1, 2, and then into that second loop, we're actually just going to be going into this front loop or outside loop with a slip stitch. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull through everything, and we're going into the outside loops instead of just going in through both, because otherwise it'll kind of give this dress a weird curve, whereas this one, it helps the flap lay a little bit flatter on the chest. But once we get here, we're going to be going into the next 2 outside loops with 1 slip stitch each. So here is 1 outside loop and 2 outside loops. Once we have that, we're going to flip our work, and then we're going to prepare for a double crochet. And then into this first double crochet loop, we're going to be going in with a back loop double crochet. So insert into that back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do that again. Prepare for a double crochet into that back loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And we're going to keep doing that all the way down. Once we make it to the end, we're going to chain up 3, flip our work, and then continue going back down with back loop double crochets, and then connecting into the outside loops once when we get to the base. But we'll do that together just one more time, just as a refresher. We've made it all the way back down, back to our base, and we're going to connect with a slip stitch again, just to show you guys just one last time. So we're going to count up the next 2 loops. We're going to count up 1, count up 2, and then we're going to insert our hook into this outside loop. And then from here, we're going to yarn over, pull through everything with a slip stitch. And then, in order to work our way up to the next row, slip stitch up 1, slip stitch up 2, making sure that we're going into the outside loops. Flip our work, prepare for a double crochet, and put back loop double crochets into every loop. And keep doing this all the way around, and then I'll meet you guys back so that we can connect it together. So we've just made it all the way around doing our flap portion, and as you guys can see, we don't have any more loops to go into. So all we're going to do now is just sandwich these 2 ends together and then go in with a row of single crochet. But we want the seam to be on the inside so that we don't see it. So all we're going to do is actually just flip this upwards, and then we're going to be working along this end so that once when we flip it back down, the seam will be on the inside and everything's going to look nice and clean. So this next part is just connecting it with a row of single crochet, making sure that we go in through the front and the back panel, and it's going to be exactly the same way that we have connected everything else so far. So we're just going to do a couple of them and then we'll go from there. But since we're in here, what we're going to do is insert our hook into the first available loop that we have in the front panel, and then into the next available loop that we have in the back panel. From here, we're going to single crochet, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do this again. Insert our hook into the next available loop in the front panel, and then next available loop in the back panel. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's basically it. We're going to keep doing this all the way down, and then once we make it to the end, we will cut and tie, and then I will show you guys what to do next. This is what we should have once we have made it all the way down with our seam. And this is the outside, as you can see or may not see. This is it, but when we flip it inside out, this is the seam along the inside, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. And once we have this done, our last thing that we're going to do is actually just make a chain. And this is just for technical purposes, not exactly for decoration. This is just so that we can ensure that this dress stays up on our shoulders, since we did this single crochet row along the edge of the dress, since this is a little bit wider than what we need it to be. So how we're going to do that is we're just going to flip this up so that we can see this double crochet row that we have along the inside. And you guys are just going to make a chain, making sure that it's not too long so that it doesn't show underneath this flap that we have when it's back down. But I just went ahead and made a chain of 52 inches or 132 centimeters. And all this is inserting it into this double crochet row. And this doesn't need to be crazy. We're just going to figure out where this middle part is. Pull this through. And we're going to pull it all the way through, but leaving a couple inches of the chain out so that we can tie it once we get through. And I'm just going to be weaving it in and out of every third double crochet. So just do one really quickly. I'm going to count out, since I'm using my hook, I'm actually going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Insert my hook behind the 6. And then I'm going to count back the way that I came. And this is only because our chain is outwards facing us. So I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3. Insert my hook through that loop, and then pull this all the way through if possible. And there we go. And just pull this all the way through, making sure that it's taut. And keep doing this all the way around, including in through the armholes, all the way around. And then I'll meet you guys back just to show you guys what it ends up looking like. This is our dress when we're all done with our drawstring, and we're basically all done. Just the last thing that we have to do is weave in all of our ends. I have finished weaving in all those pesky ends, and this is our finished off-the-shoulder sweater dress. Between this, the turtleneck bodycon dress, and some other dresses I got in the works, I have got y'all covered for autumn and winter date nights, and that actually makes me really happy. And if y'all make this and restyle it, be sure to tag us at TCDDIY on Instagram so I can see your remakes of the dress. But while you're at it, if you like this video or any other video on the channel, give this video a thumbs up. It's right beneath the video. It lets YouTube and I know you're enjoying the videos, and it goes a really long way with helping the channel grow and gain traction. But if you didn't like it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs down, but be sure to leave me a comment letting me know why you didn't like it. Or if you have any questions, requests, or if you just want to say hi, I usually reply pretty quick. If you love it, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, it's right beneath the video. It'll let you know when there's a new video uploaded to the channel, get you a bit more priority when it comes to requests, and it goes a really long way with helping the channel grow so I can keep making all these great videos for you guys. And if you're already subscribed, huge thanks to you guys, but please hit that notification bell to know when there's a new upload for you right away, and please share with your friends. Every bit helps. Links to the yarn and the hook will be in the description as well, and if you guys buy something using those links, that also goes towards helping out the channel. And lastly, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest links are down there as well. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.